How else can I exercise my dog? I can play with my dog with toys, but I can choose appropriate toys to play with my dog. We already decided no bones. Balls are usually safe for use with these guys. There's a bunch of other toys that you can throw for these guys. Be careful if you give them something like a soccer ball, they pop it. Ask me how I know that.
And a beach ball with air in it.
That'll get popped really quickly.
If you try to throw a balloon at the dog, it will just flow away.
Yeah, and the balloon doesn't tend to survive more than one throw anyway. It usually goes bad.
Yeah, one time.
All right. So we've given our animals food, and we've given them water, and we've given them shelter, and we've given them exercise. You know, they need attention. They need not just running around, but they need attention with us, because you'd get bored if I locked you in a room with a sandwich, a glass of milk, and a treadmill and said, go be happy for the next 5 years. I don't think you'd be very happy. So they need attention, but we need to make sure that we give attention to them in a safe way. So when we go through, and if we're out and we see Mrs. Smith from down the road walking her dog, we want to go play with that dog. What's the first thing we should do? Want me to come back another time? I can do that. Peace sign. Very good. Yes, we do not want to be hit by a car while trying to go play with a dog. I didn't even think of that. You're good. Points for you. You. Or are you stretching? What should we do when we want to go pet the dog down the street?
You gotta,
Remember, this isn't your dog.
you gotta look both ways.
Mm-hmm. But there are two very important things that I haven't heard anybody say. I'm going to give you 2 more chances to come up with what I'm thinking of. You, Minecraft.
Ask them.
Bingo! And there's 2 parts to that. First, you ask your parents whether it's okay, because your parents might know that Rover down the street is not so good with other kids. Or your parents might be trying to get you someplace on time. So, ask your parents first. Or if you're there, because you guys are the older kids, if you're there and your parents aren't with you, you ask the person who's with the dog. So you always ask the person on the other end of the leash. Now, what happens if the person says, no, my dog's not comfortable with that? Do you pet that dog?
No.
Thank goodness. Yes, you don't pet that dog. If the person says yes, do you run up to that dog, puppy? No, that's not a very good idea. Well, if you ran up to me and went, doctor, I think it would be freaky. So let's walk up in a dignified, polite fashion. Hold out our hand. Hey, how you doing? Who's a good dog? If the dog is standing up, straining at the leash and going, "Eee," do we pet that dog?
No.
Good. We do not pet that dog. That dog wants to eat us or yell at us. Okay. If that dog is sitting politely, like my dog here, and he's sort of panting lightly and happily, and he maybe has his head cocked to the side looking at you, can we pet that dog?
Yes.
Yes. But do we reach out and go, doggy? I don't think so. So, when you go through and you reach out to the dog, hey, how you doing? Who's a nice guy? If he turns away from you, do you pet that dog?
No.
No. He's trying to get away, but he's trying to be polite about it. If he goes, do we pet that dog?
Yes.
Yes. Then we can pet that dog. You always go through, and if the dog looks like he's not comfortable, you don't pet that dog. So, if he's sort of down like this and turning away from you and maybe picking up a paw like, help me, do we pet that dog?
No.
He's not trying to be cute. He's thinking, if I go through and I run hard enough and fast enough, maybe I can get out of Dodge. So he doesn't want to go through and do that. So if he's licking his lips, do we pet that dog?
Yes.
Do we pet that dog?
No.
If I don't have a big old bowl of something yummy in front of me, should my dog be licking his lips like that? No. That actually, a lot of people don't know this. But standing there and licking his lips and maybe yawning a couple of times and it's not nap time, that dog's nervous. That dog actually is not sure he likes what's going on. So that's probably not the dog that you want to pet, or that's the dog you want to approach slowly. That's going to be the dog who's going to get so scared, and suddenly, whoop, and somebody's bleeding. So let's not do that. What happens if you're out there, and this might actually be your own dog, and everybody's running around and having a good time, whoa, having a great time, and the dogs are jumping up and they're getting too excited and they might bite you accidentally. What do?
Run away. Stay away. Go to tell the...
Your parent isn't here, your mom's in the kitchen.
Go and tell if you...
Your dad's busy changing your baby brother.
You
Parents aren't here.
have to run inside the house.
Do you run if a dog's chasing you?
No. You just stay still.
You be a tree. You stand there, fold your hands, you look down, and you make yourself as boring as possible. Because you know what's fun? Running's fun. Running's exciting. Dogs want to run. Dogs don't want to interact with somebody like this. So if the dogs are getting too exciting, or if they look like they're not thrilled about this and maybe they want to take a piece out of you, you stand there and you look really boring and you look down and you wait for the dog to go somewhere else and then you go back in. So that's what you do with that. And that's something you can do with your own dogs if they get too excited. If it's too exciting, you can be a tree. Watch your roots grow. Because most of the dog bites, actually, in the United States, are not from Mrs. Smith's dog down the street. It's usually the dog who lives in your own home, or your grandmother's dog, or your neighbor's dog, or your best friend's dog. These are usually dogs that you would expect would be happy and outgoing and they want to play with you, but maybe you didn't read their signals right, or maybe something scared them. So every time you interact with dogs, and cats by the way, you always want to make sure they're okay with it. Because just like you might not want to play with that person today, maybe they will want to play with you today.